In Kiwi Lounge, I sit alone tonight. Joystick in hand, memories take flight. 8-bit wonder, stardust in my eyes. Lost in worlds where magic never dies.
Hello everyone. Today we'll be taking a trip back in the Stone Age. That's right, where men live in caves. Where men and women rub sticks to make fire.
Yes! Look what I have created! I have made fire! I have made fire!
Or riding in stone cars. Imagine that. But today we're going to be reviewing a little game called the Flintstones, Rescue Dino Hoppy on the NES. So, let's travel back in time, take our time machine, and let's visit a little town called Bedrock.
Hey kids, the new Flintstones game is awesome! You time travel back to Stone Age Bedrock, then zap through time to the 30th century to help me rescue Dino and Hoppy! Yo! Yabba dabba doo! It's totally far out! I hope you don't get time sick! Yabba dabba doo! Zap through time with the Flintstones, only from Nintendo! Now you're playing with power!
This is why you need to play the Flintstones, the Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. It's a blast from the past. Today, we're diving into the Flintstones, the Rescue of Dino and Hoppy on the classic NES. Released in 1991, this game takes you back to the Stone Age. Literally. You play as Fred Flintstone, on a mission to rescue Dino and Hoppy from the evil Dr. Butler. Along the way, you'll smash through prehistoric landscapes, face off against quirky enemies, and collect power-ups like bowling balls and clubs. The graphics are a colorful treat, capturing the charm of the beloved cartoon series. And the music? Pure 8-bit nostalgia. But watch out, this game isn't a walk in the park. It's got some seriously tough levels that'll test your platforming skills. So, dust off that old NES and get ready to yabba dabba do your way through one of the most fun, challenging, and charming games of the retro era. See you in Bedrock!
No, Dino, no, bad boy! Off the bad dog! Bad Dino breath! No.
Later on in our video we'll be looking at the Flintstones Dinosaur Peak for the NES, which will be much later in the channel time, because that was going at a value retail price for $800. Say what?
What?
For $800. Damn, that must have been some good shit, so we'll take a look at that game later on. But for today's video, we'll be looking at the Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. Just who the hell is Hoppy anyways?
Come, his mouse! You're right, Dino, that mouse is a monster!
I mean, I don't mind saving Dino's ass, but Hoppy? What the fuck? Never seen him in the cartoon before. The Flintstones was an iconic cartoon show from the 1960s. The reason why it was because it was the main prime show in late night television. Thing was, it was the first cartoon that tried to be a live-time television show, because the characters had some pretty interesting storylines throughout the entire seasons, such as Bam Bam, the birth of Pebbles, with storylines with Mr. Slate. It was just a fantastic show. And also, could you imagine bowling like they were today?
Come on, Twinkle Toes.
Oh!
ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the characters of the iconic, famous, wonderful television show known as the Flintstones. You got Fred Flintstone, Wilma Flintstone, Barney Rubble, Betty Rubble, Dino, Bam Bam, you got Pebbles, Hoppy, and Mr. Slate. Of course, where they're movies, they are bound to be shitty games. So let's dive in and see if this one is a shitty or awesome game. Da 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 da. What the creators were thinking when they did this. Because what does this look like? Now, before we start getting on with the gameplay, etc., I just thought to mention out that there's in this, they have George Jetson in it, and I think everyone forgot about that. I mean, fancy doing a crossover with George Jetson meet the Flintstones. Check this out, George Jetson in the last level. Upon making reference to George Jetson, thumbs up. Hey, also doesn't Dr. Butler look a little bit like Dr. Evil? Take a look.
Request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done. Can you remind me what I pay you people for, honestly?
The gameplay is preceded by a short cutscene which sets the stage where the Flintstones and the rebels are enjoying their lives in Bedrock. That's when a man from the 30th century named Dr. Butler kidnaps Fred, pet Dino, and Barney's pet Hoppy. Fred's alien friend Gonzo lost parts of his time machine due to Dr. Butler. Gonzo is visible only to Fred and to nobody else, a slight change from the series, where Barney, Pebbles and Bam Bam could also see him. Each day Fred completes, he earns back another piece of the time machine, and Gonzo welds together the pieces progressively throughout the stages. Fred runs into Wilma, Barney, Betty as well as George Jetson in the future stage. Fred has to defeat a boss at each stage at the end of the map. He gets the last piece and travels to the future where he defeats Dr. Butler. You can also play minigames such as basketball. Graphics. The graphics in this game are beautiful, specially designed for this game. They represent the cartoon of the Flintstone pretty well. They're bright and colourful. Especially for the era, the graphics animation is done superbly. Music, I would recommend the music score about 3 points out of 5. I mean, considering the music had the Flintstone theme at the beginning, which sounded amazing for an 8-bit retro game, but some of the other game level music was just above average. Those of the first world and the ice level world seem pretty decent, but nothing well, but will leave your head bopping to some of the tunes in the game. Difficulty. Now this is the real kicker. Overall the game is pretty hard. It starts off easy and you're like, oh yeah, it's going to be an easy scroll through this game. However, some of the levels can be quite hard. The controllers are good, but gameplay makes it hard and you'll be challenged. Bosses are fairly easy also, but you could spend a few hours in Bedrock screaming at the TV. The final verdict of this awesome, incredible game. By the way, I hope you guys like my hat. So it's New Zealand hat where I'm from, so yeah, represent. But anyway, the final verdict of the Flintstones for the NES. This was an amazing game. I don't really know what to say against cons, because I thought this game was bloody awesome. But anyway, we'll see what comes up here. So the pros, we got the storytelling, the graphics, gameplay, the bosses. It's just bloody awesome overall. But cons, well, like I say, I don't really know much of cons, but I would say the only downfall of the cons for this game was the music. It was a little bit of a letdown, apart from the theme song, but the rest, yeah, just can't really con it, so, huh. But anyway, this gives our tick of approval for excellency. So thank you everybody for rolling down with us in the journey to Bedrock. Catch us in the next video. Cheers.
8-bit wonder, stardust in my eyes, lost in worlds where magic never dies.